Hey guys, Mike here with Bitcoins. It's May 12th, 2022, and yep, we've been dropping hard, and we got an encore on the encore the last day, and yeah, it looks pretty bad, but it actually looks better here on Ethereum than it looks on Bitcoin. So let me show you, because here we actually have potential support, right? Potential support on this one here. Let me draw a horizontal line. All right, so here we are, right? That's some context. There's nothing else that's holding it up. That's basically the context from way back in, well, actually almost exactly a year ago. Can you believe it? Yeah, it's 18th of May. Today's the 12th of May. So yeah, a year ago we're in a similar situation, but early in the game. Here we're much more evolved already. Right, here we've been already coiling up for quite a while, tried to escape, came down, and it just wiped out. But we have potential for support here. This is typical dead cat bounce. That's not often the last thing that happens. Here last time we bounced and then, called around for a while, revisited, called around for a while, revisited, and then we bounced. It never really plays out the same way each time. But just so you know, right? A lot of people have been puked out of positions here. Human psychology is pretty predictable. And yeah, that's that. That's actually how floors are being formed, right? A lot of people get kicked out of positions. It's pain that they're trying to address, right? With, because it's psychological, cognitive biases. We're all wired in the same way, right? It's pretty predictable. And that's how the bus empties, and then people come in, buy the dip, and that's early dip buying that we're seeing here. I don't know if that's the whales or not. Doesn't really matter. We see it happen, and yeah, a lot of people have been underwater. Maybe some leveraged positions have been closed out, which is always actually, that would be positive, by the way. But so here we are. So are we going to hold here? I'm not sure, but just want to show you where we might be going if we don't, which is the next support is 1560 something, and then here we have some roughly around early 1300s, not the century, but the price level. So that's where we might be heading if this doesn't hold. So far, yeah, it has a chance to hold here. Is it guaranteed? Of course not. Nobody can guarantee anything. So that's Ethereum. Bitcoin actually looks a little bit worse. So it has lost a little bit against the dollar against Bitcoin. Bitcoin has lost against Ethereum, pardon me, over the last day or two. But still, it's actually in worse shape than Ethereum, because, here, all its support has already been abandoned. And the question, of course, bodes, what? Is that the same thing is going to happen to Ethereum? Well, it doesn't look it for now. Why has it bounced here? Honestly, there's no good answer, because honestly, I don't see anything here else that would hold it up. The next support level is around 23,000, but this is a tiny wiggle. So the next thing we can take seriously is this right here. Right here. So that's around 18,000 and change. Yeah, of course I don't want to see it go to that, but in a crash situation, anything can happen. It depends on really on behavior of traders and investors, of what, if certain pain thresholds are being breached, then they might go there. But for now, at least we bounce back. It's a dead cat bounce. It's something I've observed many times. I've seen in 2008. Sometimes that is the end of it, and sometimes it's not. Impossible to predict, because in a crash situation where volatility spikes this high, there's really nothing to really hold your head on. Then there is the dollar, which really seems to be driving everything. So if you're looking at this right here, you would have expected after touching some long-term resistance that it would stop, but it took a short breather, and it just keeps on chugging here, right? And the way it's going, we're going to see the euro at par very soon, and I don't know where the yen is going to be, or the British pound, but it's starting to look pretty bad for everything else but the dollar. And confusing for many, right? Because we keep hearing about hyperinflation, or inflation at least, if it's not hyperinflation and massive inflation. But it's the least of the ugly of the least ugly stepchild, right? That everyone wants to adopt right now, it seems, and that's how this happens. There's a lot of reshuffling going on internationally in terms of assets, and that's honestly a little bit out of my métier, as to say. It's on my pay level, and that's something I heard about many years ago, and I read about that. Potentially, first you would see a strengthening dollar, after which you would then start falling like a rock. It made sense to me, but I wouldn't be able to explain it. I'm not a macroeconomist, right? And so that's beyond my pay grade. That's the expression. So to that end, I don't know where it ends, because it's been a while since we were up here. I see how far I can scroll out on a dollar. I don't think this one has a hell lot of data, but when I looked at it way back, I think the next support level is we haven't touched that since resistance level since 2008 or something like that, and then before that is actually 2002 or 2001. So it's really, really long-term support. Some of you guys might have been babies back then. I was there, unfortunately. I'm old enough, but so that's the dollar. But clearly, it's driving. Everything's driving into the dollar. Equities. Everyone is puking out equities as well, and the only things that are going up right now basically is energy and commodities and the dollar. So, and it's gonna end at some point. When is anyone's guess? Because it's always anyone's guess in any bear market. So. Let me take a quick look at what's happening over NinjaTrader. Okay, continuing with Ethereum. This is the 120-minute chart. And as you can see, we have a net line by around 21.17. 21.16 and 79 cents. So around 21.17. We're quite a bit away from that. This looks like a potential low. I like the flush out, but let's be honest, we saw it here too, right? That was a big flush out, and we did bounce back, and we actually bounced back a lot higher. So this might not be the end of it. Is it a better asset? I'm being asked by many. I personally, I'm holding half right now. I'm sticking with the system. The system is still on Ethereum, but it might switch back to Bitcoin next week. There is no perfect way to assess that right now, because if you look at Bitcoin versus Ethereum, they're kind of taking turns here. And so I decided to go half, and that's basically how the way I'm playing it. I'm not in stable coins. Personally. It's your decision what you do, but I hear a lot of rumors and rattle about stable coins, and I'm rather in Bitcoin and Ethereum than I'm in any stable coin right now, and I'm going to probably hold it like this. Of course, if you don't want to be in Ethereum, if you don't want to be in Bitcoin, but what is the alternative? Well, there's always the dollar, of course. The dollar is ramping. It's gonna find a ceiling at some point, of course. So maybe diversification might be an answer. So just to I don't offer trading advice here. This is not intended to be trading advice, but I'm just telling you what I do, and that's something worth considering. Let's also look at let's look at Bitcoin first. Now we'll look at the daily chart, right? Bitcoin USD. Okay, so here the net line buy level is around 29,352 and change, like almost 353. And quite a bit away from that still. Quite a bit away from that, and there's nothing really substantial that gives me any bullish illusions here. So, this is normal after a wipeout. Honestly, if you look at this, right, it looks very similar to this. So this looks right now like a potential floor, and we're looking at the overall price action, and we're drawing some lines, but there's no guarantees, and let's just be honest about that, right? What else? Let's look at the daily. I just want to see here the context. So that is, it took a second. Now on the daily, if you're looking at this direction there, right, where the net lines are, that's quite a bit away. away, that's like, oh God, 36,000 and something. I mean, we're trading at 28,000 and change right now. Dipped all the way to 25,000 and change overnight. So we're quite a ways away from hitting netline buy level. The next one will be, however, I can tell you that right now because we did paint 1, 2, 3 lower lows, right? So here we are at, what's the high? Let's see if I can read that. That is the high at 32,645. Yeah. So that would be a net line buy level once this candle concludes, no matter what happens. So we're going to get this one right here. And then we shall see. That probably has a higher probability. That would be the first step required, actually. That would be the first step required to really heave away all of this mess. And also it would coincide with somewhere on this support level. See that? It roughly coincides. I could draw a line right now, but just take my word for it. And then we have a lot of, let's not kid ourselves. We have a lot of resistance ahead now. This is gonna, even if we're bouncing here, this is gonna require some effort to work our way out of. Okay, and let's finish up with Ethereum USD. If it shall accept my input. 1 second. There you go. Okay. Yeah, looks very similar, right? And I've already drawn here 1 second. Let me. So the next netline buy level will be here. Yeah, right here. That's going to be a next mile. Netline buy level 1, 2, 3. Remember, once this candle concludes, and I actually don't know why I didn't paint it here. That's very strange. Very strange, actually. There is one here, right here, but we don't care right now. The most important one is the next one that will be painted. This looks a little bit more bullish to me than what I saw on Bitcoin. Why? Because I don't see as much of that up here. See, it looks more like something like this. But again, even if we get a bounce like that, we've got a long ways ahead of ourselves. So let's not fool ourselves. So this is where potentially right here, that price level 24, 2,400, almost 2,500. That's really roughly where I think the road, the rubber meets the road. If we continue, if we actually breaching and continue higher, and what are the odds that are happening right now? Very mixed, right? This has to play out first. We want to see all these things happen, but in reality, these things take time to play out. The market is going to play with the emotions. That's just how it works. So that's all I got for you. I hope it helps. I'll see you next time.